Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 13 of Build the Terminator.
The Terminator, week by week, built the T-800, the killing machine that defined a generation. Easy to build with high-quality metal components. You can control sound, lights, articulated limbs, and LED eyes. And explore the Terminator universe. Build the Terminator. Issue 1, just $1.99.
So hi guys and girls, and thanks for joining me again for another episode of Build the Terminator. Today we're going to be working on essentially attaching the lower jaw to the neck and forming the neck together. We'll be using some parts from previous issues, so I'm just going to show you quickly here in the picture. So we'll be assembling the neck. Obviously from the last issue we had this other part but we couldn't attach it, but today we will. We're also going to make a finger. It looks like the little finger because it's very small, not many components, and obviously we'll be using parts from previous issues from the lower jaw and such, so all from 11. So it looks like a rather simple build, so let's get started. So just a little recap before we get started. So just starting from the bottom, these are the components from the last issue that we're going to be using today. So you've got the lower jaw section, you've got part of the neck, and you've also got the neck joint here. So these three are going to be used from issue 11 for today. And then moving up to the top, we have neck, the second neck part, which is component 13.1. You've also got all of the plates. So these are the neck plates. They're just going to cover the screws, so it keeps it nice and neat and all tucked in nicely. And then just moving over, these are all the components for the finger. As you can see, there's not much there. It's quite small, so not really much we're going to do there, I imagine. There is something new added to it. They've included this rubber sleeve. I don't really know why, but there must be a reason behind it. So yeah, we'll get on with that after we've done the neck assembly with the lower jaw. You do need some super glue as well for a few parts, some cross-point screwdrivers, and lastly we've also got 5 PB screws here. These are the 2x6mm, and as usual there's always one. So let's get started. Okay, so for steps 1 to 3, rather simple. You're going to take component 11.1 from issue 11. This is part of the neck, and you're going to take the neck joint, which is component 11.2 to 11.3. And you'll see that there's just the little screw hole on this side that, and also attaches to the joint. So we're just going to line those up, and very simply we're just going to insert one of the PB screws just to secure those two together. And you'll see that there's some movement within obviously the joint, and obviously that's what we want because we want the neck and head to be able to move. So that's that stage complete. Okay, so moving on to steps 4 to 6. For this section we'll be attaching 11.1 to the lower jaw. What you'll see if you flip over the lower jaw, on here there are some raised screw holes. This is what you'll be attaching the neck to with the screws. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to flip it over so I can then align the lower jaw, sorry, the neck, part of the neck onto it, and then I can screw in with the PB screw. So I'm just going to put the screw in first. And then I'm just going to line it on here, if you can see. So I'm just going to line the neck component 11.1 onto there, and screw and fasten the screw to it. It's going to be quite fiddly, so Might see a few edits on this video. So I've got that in alignment. I'm just going to screw it in now. Took a bit of fiddling, but I got there in the end. Again, as I've said before, I do not have delicate hands, so this is definitely a tricky thing for me to do. But I don't quit, and I like a challenge. Hence why I've taken this build upon myself, and I will complete it, so I'll see it through. And there you go. That is now secure, and I can move on to the next sections. Okay, so for steps 7 to 9, we've flipped over the neck and the lower jaw, and we're going to be attaching the components 13.1 to the rest of the neck. So it's recommended that you'll see on the neck assembly some pins at the bottom, and they advise just to put next to the screw holes, and they advise to put a little bit of glue on there just to help keep it secure. So I'm going to do that as well as obviously attaching the 2 PB screws, because we just essentially just want to line this up like so, and then screw it in and have the super glue to lock that in there as well. So I'm just going to put the screws in first. There's one at the top and also one at the bottom. So I'm just going to pop those in. I'm just going to give it a quick test first to connect them up before I glue it. Okay, so you see that that's now locked in nicely. Just lost one of my screws. I'm going to screw them first and see how tight it feels, because it already feels quite secure to me without having put the glue in. So I might just screw it only and not bother with the glue. But let's see how it goes. I think with the glue, it's just an advisory thing. It's not always necessary when they ask you to do that. Just going to switch screwdrivers. Okay, so that one locked in, and just put the other one in. Let's just double check that I can go in any more. Just a little bit more. Okay, it's clicking, which means it's in there as far as it can. And I'll be honest, that does not need any glue. That is on there nice and secure. So as you can see, we've now attached both components to the lower jaw. That's looking pretty cool. I'm chuffed with that. Okay, now we can move on to the final stage. So final stage is here now, steps 10 to 12. Really easy, really quick. We're just going to be fixing on the little plates to go over the screw holes, like I mentioned. So you'll see the screw holes there where we've obviously tightened the neck together. We're just going to cover those up. So you need parts 13.5 and I believe it's 13.3 first. So they're from the bottom, these two here. So I'm just going to pop them on. Okay, that's one. These won't need any glue because the screws, the little pins fit in perfectly, so it's nice and snug. There you go, it's the first side. You can see nice and clean. Hopefully the light's not reflecting too much. And then I just flip to the other side and repeat on that side. So this one's a bit more tricky because the actual jaw is blocking it slightly. So I'm just going to twist it. Yep, there we go. I forgot the the neck can move, so that helps. Got this is a bit fiddly. Okay, that's that one, and then the last one, which is another plate. It doesn't really matter about the number at this point because it's the last one. And there we go. So that is that part of this issue complete. So as you can see, I've got a fully movable mandible jaw, and the neck also pivots. So pretty cool. Just going to attach the head so you can get a feel for how that looks. So if I just grab the eyes and the socket and then just put it over, just so you get a little feel of how it's coming together. How does that look? That's pretty cool, isn't it? So there we go. That's the head coming together nicely. Looking forward to getting the cranium on there and everything else and tying up the wires. So let's move on to the final stage, the little finger. So on to the final stage of this this issue, and it's assembling the little finger. Now we obviously know the drill now of the fingers, they're quite simple, and this one is very, very easy. As you can see, there's hardly anything here. So it's advised just to put a little bit of glue onto the part 13.7. This is the part that always goes on the end of the finger, which will be attaching to component 13A, which is this one. So I'm just going to put some glue on there just to keep it secure. I'll just let that lock in for a moment. So I've attached component 13.7 to 13.8. Okay, now we can move on. So taking component 13.9, placing this from underneath. So I'm just going to place that from underneath. You're going to take a pin. This is 13.10, it's the longer one. But this time, usually in the past we would just put this straight through at the top without anything, but now we have actually a plastic component, which I think is going to help to keep it even more secure. I don't know why they've included it for just this one. There must be a reason behind it. It can't be random. But what we do, we put that through first from the top. So I'm just going to push that through first, and then you can push the pin, the larger one, from the top into that plastic tube, and then also through component 13.9. Okay, that's on there, and then you just grab the last little pin, which is 13.11, and then we're going to insert that from beneath if I don't lose it. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue because it's advised to do so onto the tip. I'm actually going to put it in the plastic tubing, and then I can put the pin in a bit easier, just to give it some extra support apparently. Keep it in there nice and firm. So just going to push the pin through now and just hold that for a minute. I've just dabbed 13.11 with a little bit of glue. And there you go. That's the completed finger. As you can see, it's very small in comparison to the other ones, but it's a nice quick build. And that's that issue complete. So that's episode 13 complete, and it was a relatively easy one. I'm really happy with how it's come out today, so I'm just going to show you one last time again what we did. So obviously there you go, you've got the completed neck, now with the lower jaw attached. So I don't think it's going to be much longer before we actually attach the head and get that all coming together. And then we also did the little finger. So that's going to be attached in a future issue, I believe. So on to next week's, next episode's issue. We're going to be constructing some more of the forearm and also another finger for the right hand. So that will be pretty much completed by then, because I've just done one now and then there's one more to go and that's it. So we will need obviously the right hand for the next issue, and also from the last issue we will need the lower the forearms tendons, I believe. This will be used for the next issue. So have a great week ahead, guys. If you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. Remember to give it a like and also leave some comments below. Interested to hear what you think about how I'm doing with my build so far, and any hints or tips you may have if you're also building it. But until then, I'll see you soon for episode 14.